I know I either sleep too much or too little, depending on whether I'm sleeping when I think I'm sleeping or whether I'm sleeping when I think I'm awake. If I'm sleeping when I think I'm awake, then I'm sleeping too much. But if I'm sleeping when I think I'm sleeping, then I'm hardly sleeping at all. See, the problem is that the difference between sleep and consciousness has become blurred, and I only know if I'm awake by knowing the time of day. If it's nighttime, I must be dreaming. The fallacy, of course, is obvious to anyone who, while asleep, dreams of being asleep. When you wake up, you're still asleep. So sometimes I worry that while sleeping, I'll have dreamed that it's afternoon. Then, thinking I'm awake, I'll believe that what's only a dream was actually real. That's why I began collecting souvenirs, bringing them back home as proof that I'd been out when I thought I was out.
Hey, what time is it?
It's about 6 o'clock.
Morning or evening?
Morning or evening? Shit, man, you okay?
But now, looking at my collection, I wonder if I'm not just having a recurring dream. And anyway, if I can't tell the difference between dreams and reality, the difference can't be that important.
Leon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Leon, what time is it?
The time?
Yeah.
Is that you?
What time is it?
That's why you called? To ask the time?
My clock broke.
Your goddamn clock broke, so you called me to ask the goddamn time? Jesus
I just wanted
Christ.
to be sure.
What the hell's wrong with
Have we
you?
rehearsed today already? Or not?
Jesus Christ.
What's that supposed to mean? Did we rehearse or didn't we? If we had our rehearsal, had I been there? Once I asked Leon if he ever thought about his dreams. He said, no. That's because Leon knows the difference between dreams and reality. Dreams are the part of the day you ignore. Reality is the part you try not to. My father found a way to ignore his dreams. He never slept. He had a neurotic need for activity. It's precisely because we have nothing to do, he'd say, that we must get up early. Faced with the prospect of a long day, men learn to make themselves productive. In the middle of the night, he would wake me up, demanding to know who had been in his toolbox. I'd stumble from room to room until I found the pipe wrench I'm sure he himself had hidden. Then we'd start to work, adding plumbing fixtures to things that had no plumbing. He was obsessed with faucets. Our bathroom, a monument to man's triumph over the eternally long day.
Son, are you still asleep?
Excuse me. You got the time?
Oh shit, I'm late.
On your way to work?
I'm always on my way to work.
Father was insane. I'm sure he was. Still, it's hard to blame him for my own sleep disorder. There, I did it again. I called it a sleep disorder. That's in deference to people like Leon, whose supremely rational senses tell them that I indeed have a problem. I don't know. Maybe it is a disorder. But how can it be a disorder not to recognize time when the city conspires to hide every natural indication of that time? I mean, where's the sky? Where's the horizon? How am I supposed to know if the sun's rising or falling when it's always hot and gray and dusk always looks like dawn? when you think about it, maybe I'm the only sane person around. Seriously, people like Leon, who look out on a chaotic world and imagine they see order. Are they rational or irrational?
Anybody got the time? Hello?
Coffee?
No, I wondered what time.
No coffee?
Oh. Yeah, okay.
But now the real problem occurs to me. If I don't have a disorder, Leon does. And if Leon doesn't, I must. Unless neither of us do. In which case, Leon and I are living in contradictory worlds. One orderly, one chaotic. Each of us only capable of perceiving his own reality.
Excuse me? What are you serving today?
You can't read?
Dinner or breakfast?
What is it that you want?
Eggs?
How do you want them cooked?
I'll have the number 2, scrambled.
This being so, it seems absurd to think that somehow we'll interpret signs within our different realities in such a way that Leon and I will actually come together on the same street at the same time, just as we said we would. And yet we have met, haven't we? Haven't we? Haven't we met on Sydney Street countless times before? Haven't we always driven to rehearsal together? These are memories, aren't they?
Scrambled eggs. You wanted eggs scrambled. Eggs scrambled.
No, thanks. Just the coffee.
Or are they dreams? Or so I thought. I think I thought, while I was standing under another hot gray sky, waiting for Leon to pick me up for rehearsal. Standing there in the thin shade of my black umbrella, I imagined a bead of sweat rolling down my cheeks and from my armpits, down my legs, into puddles on the ground. Puddles that spill into the gutters and sewers, in harbors and oceans. It seemed like I'd been waiting for hours, Whether or not Leon showed up wasn't important. What if he didn't show? It wasn't important that Leon show up, or that I make rehearsal. It was only important that I know whether Leon would show up. Until I came to some conclusion regarding that, I was stuck.
Excuse me? Have you got the time?
I considered phoning Leon once again, but afraid that he'd show up the second I stepped away, I decided I couldn't leave. And there was the rub. If Leon arrived as soon as I left, that meant he wouldn't come until I actually were to leave. But if I did leave, and he came, he'd be furious with me.
Excuse me, have you got the time? Oh, it's about 1/2 a hair on her freckle. You don't know the time? Hey, all I'm asking for is the time. Doesn't anybody on this goddamn planet know the goddamn time? Why won't anyone tell me the time?
I could picture myself, old and senile, still standing on the sidewalk waiting for Leon. And although I know I was being irrational, I couldn't help blaming Leon, who now held enormous power over me. I felt like his fool. He was in my head, in every thought. I had become fixated on Leon. And the fact that Leon, who was usually not more than a passing thought, had been blown into this fixation, made the thought of him all the more revolting. I had to get away. I was shaken by how odd the world had become, how unfamiliar the street I had lived on for years. Why was everybody being so strange? Where the hell am I? Why don't I recognize this place? My God, I must be dreaming. But if I'm dreaming, it must be nighttime. And so I gathered up my things and returned to my apartment to wait for 7 a.m. when I'm to meet Leon at the intersection of Sydney and Erie.